it's like you got to know you got to know your body. Yes, I think, and that's why I said for the holidays, you don't want to say, I would just say, I'm going to eat whatever I want on Thanksgiving, but I'm not going to do it the day after Thanksgiving, right? I'm going to get right back in the saddle. It's the problem with a lot of people. It's like this all or nothing mentality.
Yeah.
You don't want that. You want progress. You don't want all or nothing. If you make a mistake, a lot of people like, well, I ate some candy at lunchtime, so I'm just gonna, what the heck? It's called the what the heck effect, right? And it's like we're just gonna eat whatever we want the rest of the day because we messed up. So that makes no sense.
Yeah.
I mean, so you ate a piece of candy, so what? Keep going and keep doing healthy stuff, right? It's the accumulation of all the crap that we're eating. It's not just one piece of candy. It's the accumulation of continuing to just say, I can't change, or I got to keep going. I can't, I messed up one time. So what? You messed up one time. Right. So what?
Well, I'm Tony.
And I'm Casey.
And welcome to Anthony's Way, The Road to Kindness, YouTube, and our podcast, The Way Forward, a Kindness Mission. We want to welcome especially those joining us for the first time. It's great to have you with us. We created Anthony's Way, The Road to Kindness in memory of our dear son, Anthony, with one mission in mind, to help kids with ADHD thrive. Now, November kicks off the holiday season. Family gatherings, lots of food, and a time for celebration. And this month, we want to raise awareness that nutrition is critical with ADHD in everyone, and you need to create a habit. It needs to become a habit. Just because it's a holiday time, you can make some changes, but at the end of the day, we want to create a habit. And kids on medication have challenges every day with their eating habits and what they're eating. Holiday time may be make it even more complicated. Parents, you play a critical role in helping your children to eat the right foods. And today we're excited to bring you Lindy Ford, and Casey's going to introduce Lindy.
So Lindy Ford, RD LDN, is a registered dietitian and licensed nutritionist who specializes in functional nutrition, an evidence-based approach that identifies and treats the root causes of disease rather than merely managing symptoms. She is the founder of Lindy Ford Nutrition and Wellness in Wilmington, North Carolina, where she helps patients struggling with prediabetes, diabetes, thyroid disorders, gastrointestinal problems, and weight management challenges. So Lindy has helped countless families understand how the food we eat impacts our energy, mood, and overall well-being. And today she's joining us to dive into a topic that affects so many of the families we serve: how nutrition supports the ADHD brain and how to bring balance during the holidays. We are proud to say that Lindy is part of Anthony's Way, The Road to Kindness in our advisory board, and we are so glad that she's with us.
Absolutely. So Lindy, we did a little bit on your background, but please share for those listening.
Hi, Lindy.
Hi, Lindy.
Hey.
Welcome to.
Hey, thank you guys. Thank you guys so much. First of all, I just want to, I'm so proud of the work that Tony and Casey have been doing. It's just amazing. And I am so, their passion is really, their love, their passion, and their kindness has always blown me away. And I'm so privileged and honored to be part of this organization because I know where their heart is. And I know that they just want to figure out effective ways of helping kids and families. So thank you guys for all the hard, you guys put a lot of hard work into this. So appreciate it. But I want to tell you, really, where I start is just one hot mess. Okay. So I hope that just gives all of y'all a real good feeling, because you can start anywhere, because I started as a mess and terrible health at one time. I was overweight. I had an autoimmune issue. I had gut health issues. I was just not in allergies, lots of different allergies. But I grew up in a very loving but not very healthy family. And my parents' idea of a salad would have been iceberg lettuce with a few like anemic looking tomatoes on it with some maybe French dressing. And what we had in our house was a death in a tub, which was called shed spread. I don't know if they make that stuff in, but they should. I hope they have outlawed it by now, but margarine, basically. And margarine is a death trap. But anyway, my dear parents, who had terrible health, really terrible health, all through their 30s and 40s, and actually died in their early 50s, three
Oh,
months apart from one another. Yeah, had a
sorry.
profound effect on me. I had already seen nutrition do some amazing things with me, and so I just went and pursued that even further, and went ahead and got the degree and got the internship, and it took a good 6 years to do that because we have to do clinical, we have to work out in a hospital, we have to work in clinical settings, I had to work with WIC and the school system and all kinds of different places to get my degree because we don't that's what a clinical nutritionist is. But anyway, I love what I do. And I'm from the Baltimore, DC area, but I moved down here for the weather, to be honest with you, and couldn't stand the snow anymore. And I didn't know if Wilmington was ready for me, but I've been here 10 years and Wilmington has embraced me, but I also do telehealth. So I work with kids and parents and people all over the United States, the continental United States, and I have a YouTube channel. So if you could just humor me and go on and please subscribe because I'm trying to get to 40,000 subscribers. So if you can humor me on that, I'd appreciate it. But there's a lot of good information, and I really try to meet the needs of my constituency. And I literally I have just seen people's lives turn around because of good habits, lifestyle choices, and good nutrition.
Yeah, so true. So true. So Lindy, what are some of the biggest misconceptions that people have about nutrition? And then those misconceptions, how do the people that have those, how do they impact those with ADHD? You know,
That's a really good question, Tony. So misconceptions would be, first of all, that it doesn't play a part. It plays a huge, humongous part. And we'll talk about that in a minute, and some of the deficiencies as well as gut health issues, huge part. Like, I mean, we can't get away from our physiologies, right? We're in these bodies, and things have to work the way that they were designed by our creator to work. And when they do, beautiful things will happen. When they don't, things fall apart. And so I think that, or that it's too hard, that we can't do it. Well, let me tell you what hard is. Hard is living with chronic disease, okay? Because
Mhm.
I used to. Hard is having gut health issues. Hard is going on more and more medication. I'm not totally anti-medication, but I think so much of it is not needed. But especially, I would just say, like, I'll just take, for example, depression and anxiety. Our medical establishment, I'm sorry, I'll never get invited back to this show, but our medical establishment is not is based and let me tell you, these people are light years smarter than I am. I got a B in organic chemistry, and in some of my top level biochem classes, they don't get B's. These are brilliant people, but sometimes when you're really smart, you're not wise. And I'd like to be smart and wise. And so it's just based on an allopathic model. And what that is, it's a pill for every ill. Okay, you got a problem, let's throw a pill at it.
Yeah.
And I'm telling you, how's that working for us all? We're going on more and more medication, and we're getting sicker and sicker by the minute in this country. We're one of the sickest countries in the world right now.
Yeah.
Okay. I know in the industrialized world we are. And you have to say there's got to be more to the story. There's got to be more. You can't just do an allopathic model. And I know that that's what we've been taught. As you have a virus, and you give yourself I don't know, you have this thing, and you have to take an antibiotic. Well, that leads to a lot of problems right there.
Yeah.
You have this thing, and you take this, you have this, and I don't want to live in a world without medications, guys. I'm not anti-medication, but I'm saying that we have approached our bodies in a very linear way, instead of looking at the interconnection of the body, how the gut talks to the brain, and the brain talks back to the vagus nerve. It is absolutely fascinating, but we don't look at it that way, right? We're like, oh, I'm depressed. Okay, you need an antidepressant. No, you need magnesium, right? Or omega 3s, or you need to cut down on some of those refined carbohydrates, or you need this, or you need that, or exercise, or whatever. Or really, in the natural world, it's usually a modality. It's usually a combination of a lot of things. So, and I don't do this perfectly, and I want your viewers to know this, that none of this is none of us are striving for perfection, but we're
Mhm.
striving for excellence.
That's it.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
And progress, right? Progress. We just get a little better as we go along. And we take those steps towards progress, and we don't throw up our hands and say, oh, it's just too hard. No, disease is too hard. Going on another medication with side effects. There's no pharmacological free lunches, beautiful people. None. And so, we don't do that. We can't say we're just gonna just let this process go. We have to fight back. And I've seen amazing things happen when people
Yeah.
take the bull by the horns and they fight back with good habits.
That's right. And that's the whole idea. I mean, the whole idea behind what we're trying to do is we're trying to get
Mhm.
kids and parents to
Yeah,
change so they
right,
understand the child, understand what's
right,
going on. And a big part of understanding what's
right,
going on is what they put in their body, right? So how
right.
can you explain how the food affects the brain, especially focus, attention, energy, emotional regulation? How does that play a role? I mean, how
Okay.
does food what does it do when you put the right stuff in the body versus putting the wrong stuff in?
Right. But I don't think people realize that 60% of our brains are made of fat.
Okay.
60% of our brains are made of fat. And one of the things that has been the bane of our existence is this low fat dogma that I
Mm,
still hear today, but they're getting away from it. Finally, the 30 years of research it's finally getting through to people. Um, we we've done what we did in the 1980s, 90s, and early 2000s is we said we all need to lower our fat consumption and raise our carbohydrate consumption.
mm,
Okay.
Mm.
And what has that led to? That has led to more heart disease, more obesity, more brain dysfunctions that I've ever seen. And then also more, like I said, Alzheimer's, dementia, and all that. All right. So that's what that has led to. And then what we did is we took out, some of the good fats. We don't eat the good fats anymore. We're eating the bad fats, which we'll go in. I can go into that now or later, but
Whenever you're
you know,
ready.
oh, you want to hear about bad fats? Okay. So I think fat is the number one thing, and protein's important too. But if we can just focus on those good fats, that would make a big
so
difference. Okay.
tell
So
everybody
What is good
what's
fat?
good fat.
yes, what's good fat? So I'm gonna try to simplify this. Okay. So, well, we'll start with something called polyunsaturates. Okay, there are good polyunsaturates, and there just means that they're liquid at room temperature, right? And so there are good ones and there are bad ones. All right. Um, and so, well, let's start with the monounsaturated. Monounsaturates are all good, pretty much all good. There's the olive oils of the world, olives. Lot of times, some in avocados, right? Monounsaturates, avocado oil, some nuts and seeds and stuff have the monounsaturates in them. They are amazing, heart healthy, great. Okay, so we all know that, right? But there's polyunsaturates. This is so important for parents to know, right? They got a good name off the back of there's two different kinds. There's omega 6s and there's omega 3s. Now, if there's nothing else you remember that I tell you today, okay, omega 6s and omega 3s. What's happening in our society right now, it should be a 1-to-1 ratio, right? We do need some omega 6s. We are getting 20, 30, sometimes 40 to 1. That's messing our brain up.
You know, the omega threes is what you're saying,
The
basically.
omega 3s is what you want more of, and you want less of the omega 6s because you can eat one thing and get too many omega 6s, right? And those are your seed oils, okay? Those are your canolas and your soybeans and your corn oils and your um, sunflower oils, and they are cheap. They are processed, they're GMO'd to death, and they're in everything because they're cheap. Because the food manufacturers really have our health as their major concern, right? The food manufacturers have the bottom line. They're
They want
I
that's
understand, I understand it's the bottom line that they want to make a buck. Okay. So we didn't have these even 50 years ago. We didn't have them in our food supply, not like we do today. And we have so many of them that it is crowding out those omega 3s. Okay. Omega 3s are brain foods. We need more of them. They are brain foods. The countries that get more omega 3s, they're eating fish for breakfast and things like that, literally have less anxiety. They have less depression. They have less brain disorders than societies that don't. Okay. That's epidemiological studies that show that we get more omega 3s and less omega 6s, things are going to go well for our brains. Our brains are going to work better, right? And so that's the first thing I would say for parents. And I have supplemented my children with omega 3s, and I know, and I know it's hard to sometimes get supplements. I use something called Nordic Naturals Pro Omega. When they're younger, gummies, the little gummies, and when they're older, they can do the bigger omegas. But they are so important for a teenage brain, for a young brain, but mother's milk has a lot. Mothers need to give their babies it through breast milk, but also saturated fats. We have villainized saturated fats. We Mother's milk has saturated fat in it. Okay. So we villainized the egg yolk, which was the worst thing in the world we could have done, because egg yolks they've got B vitamins, they have choline for the brain, and we took them out. Remember that they used to do, I don't know if they do it anymore, but the egg white omelets and things like that. That was the worst thing we could have done to our children, is give them egg whites instead of the whole egg, right? Mm-hmm. And so that yolk has all kinds of brain building substances in it that are going to help your kids. Saturated fat is not the villain. It's just not. It's not the villain like the polyunsaturated seed oils. They are the villains. They contribute to inflammation. What do we know about brain disorders? That it's an inflammation problem, right? They contribute to heart disease. They contribute to obesity. They contribute to all of these things. One of the first things I would do as a parent is pull them out of your pantry, pull them out of your, I don't buy salad dressings with them in it. I don't, I just don't, I look those labels, right? And we're pretty clean here. We don't really have very much. And if kids get them, they're going to get them. They're going to get them at school. They're going to get them, but don't have them in your home. Just don't have them in your home. Yeah. Corn oil, soybean oil, sunflower oil, all of those.
The nut oil.
Canola oil. Those very processed oils are deadly for and we were talking about this before we started. This is a family thing. When you do that, right, you are helping the entire family to thrive. That is the best thing since omega 3s. I can't say the omega 3s. That is so amazing when the whole family thrives, right? Because a lot of times I was telling you all before, a lot of times people will bring me their children and just say, hey, fix this child, fix this kid. And I'm like, no, the whole family, we gotta have this is a family talk. We're gonna have a little family chat here. That's kid is not, a 10-year-old is.
Mm-hmm. We tell all of our families before we send them to you, we're like, get prepared, because it's not just the child, it's all of you.
It goes all together.
Yeah.
Yeah, everybody we do. So
but it's a blessing. And when the family I just love it when families come to me and the family is ready to do these changes. I've seen it not just even with obesity or with gut health. I have a lot of gut health kids that come to me. But with even like this one woman who brought me, she's a nurse up north, and she her mom was going through cancer, and just to help her mom to get through the cancer and the chemotherapy, and the whole family did it together with the mom. It was just beautiful. And it was like the whole family was they weren't gonna say, oh, just help mom. They were like, let's do this with mom. Let's all get together.
It's a lot easier that way.
Yeah.
So Lindy, when a family comes to you, right, and they're saying, okay, help our child, help us, what are some things that you do first? Like what are the things that you ask them to do?
Yeah.
And how does this process work from your side, just so our those listening get a sense?
Yeah, I think I'm scaring everyone.
No,
it's not that bad. It's not that bad. So we don't, Rome wasn't built in a day. And I don't say you got to get rid of everything. You don't have to get rid of everything, and you can't ever eat this again. And I don't do that, right? I do think you should get rid of all seed oils, because seed oils are just that bad and so bad for the brain, right? They're so bad for the brain. But I try to get them to add some things first, right? So I'm going to have them, they're going to fill out, I'm going to know a lot about them. I just know a lot about what's going on. And also, like, I need a really honest, I say the good, the bad, and the ugly food journals. I need food journals. I need to know what they're eating, drinking. I need to know prescription drugs, because you got to understand, and also supplements. So prescription drugs are zapping a lot of the nutrients that we need for brain health.
Mm.
Yep.
ADHD drugs are zapping things that kids need for brain health. And we have to address that, and we have to really, really get diligent on getting those nutrients back. Or it's just, what are we doing here? We're just masking things, and we're not healing anything. So my big thing is, let's try to get the body to heal and get it to do the right things, right? And so that's the first thing I do is I ask for food journals. I ask for their, and also if there's any labs that they've had done in the last 6 months to a year, I ask for that. But with kids, I just get basic labs done, basic comprehensive metabolic panel, as well as a vitamin D. Um, if I suspect some labs, but CMP, those kind of things, lipid panel. But it depends, it depends on the kid. But vitamin D is very, very important. And kids with ADHD usually do have vitamin D deficiencies.
Yeah. A lot of people have vitamin D deficiencies.
A lot of them.
So, yeah.
Oh, can we yeah. So I'm all over the place, and please forgive me. Maybe I do have a little ADHD, but here's the thing. Here's the thing. Vitamin D. Let's just talk about vitamin D.
Yeah, talk about vitamin D.
Let's just talk about vitamin D.
I'm a believer in vitamin D. So.
Oh my goodness.
Is this an important one?
Oh, it's probably one of the most important ones under the omega-3s. Okay, under omega-3s.
For everybody, not just for ADHD.
Everybody. So we're talking parents, listen to me. If you, like, I had somebody in my office this morning who had her vitamin D done, and they told her she was okay at a 34. Okay. Now, let's just talk about that. Let's talk about when those values were done. They were done in the 1940s. Okay. And they need to be redone according to the #1 vitamin D researcher in the whole world. They need to be redone to go up. Okay. But a 34 means that you won't get rickets. Okay. Rickets. Now, will you help yourself with depression? No. Will you help your bones at a 34? No. Will you help your vitamin D helps with immunity? No. Will you help to prevent breast cancer, colon cancer, and prostate cancer? No. Not unless you get to over 60. Okay. I keep mine at 80. My mother died of colon cancer at the ripe old age of 51. So I keep mine pretty high. But it's very hard to OD on vitamin D. Now, with adults, I do give them K2 and K7, but that's another, you can look at my YouTube channel for that. That's amazing. I don't give kids K2. They could take K2, but I don't give them K2. But vitamin D would be one of the big ones and I don't give a lot of supplementation to kids. It would be, there's a few, like 3 or 4 that are really important for brain stuff, right? So that vitamin D is so important for immunity. Like, we're getting sick a lot. It's because it's not just one thing, right? Gut health leads to immunity, better immunity, but also, not getting enough zinc, vitamin D, those kind of things.
Yep.
And while we're on it, one of the first things that I remember about a presentation that we were at when you were speaking was we always drank soy milk, and now we only drink coconut milk.
Okay, good,
so
very good.
Just about soy.
We change.
Soy, don't get me going. 90% of soy is really bad, guys. So here's the problem with soy. It'd be fine if it was all organic, and it is it helps with hormone production, but only the good soy. 90% of the soy made in this country, or produced, I'm sorry, produced in this country is genetically modified. That's another big problem. And one of the things that I think leads to ADHD as well is these genetically modified foods. Okay. These are foods that are not the way they were 75 years to 100 years ago, and they have been hybridized, and they've been hybridized so that they can be what we call, they're glyphosated. Okay, glyphosated. That's another, some of the researchers are saying that that's another precipitating risk factor with ADHD and depression. Okay, is the glyphosate. If you Now, here's what I say to parents all the time. You do what you can afford. If you know 90% of soy is really bad for you, you only buy, if you're going to buy soy, you're going to buy it organically. Okay, that's the only way that you should eat tofu. That's the only way you should do soy milk. I know dairy has its issues. I get that. There is a type of a dairy, though. It's called A2 dairy that has almost none of the BCM7 inflammatory protein that a lot of kids are. They're not lactose intolerant, they're that protein intolerant. They're that BCM7. There's something called A2, and it's in every grocery store now. You can even find A2 yogurt. I had A2 yogurt, some full fatted A2 yogurt for breakfast this morning. You can have with other things too. You can have A2 sour cream now, but A2 is a really clean dairy. It just comes from it's a dairy. It comes from a different kind of cow. But some kids just still can't do dairy. I get that. But most of them can, try the A2 and see if they can do it. Yeah, the problem with a lot of these milks is they don't have a lot of protein in them.
Right.
Okay. So that's the only problem with coconut milk, almond milk. They're okay. They're fine. Just get them full fatted, get them organic, but they're just not going to have the kind of protein that cow's milk has.
Well, some of the almond milk still does have soy in it, does it not?
I didn't know that, and I thought that I didn't. You can get a mixture, I think, but
Okay.
if I'm going to get almond milk, it's going to be organic. I get the vanilla, but an unsweetened vanilla, and it doesn't have any soy.
Well, it amazed me how many things soy is snuck into, like things that you wouldn't, there's so
Right.
much that is soy sensitive,
Yes.
that they really have to watch out for, that a lot of people just
Yes.
don't know, like salad
Exactly.
things and all kinds of things.
Casey, that's so smart of you. Yeah, absolutely. So here's the deal. I have 5 children, and the youngest one is 15. And so, we'll be going through Trader Joe's or whatever. And she's like, Can I have this? Can I have this protein bar? Right. And I'm like, I'm teaching her, read the label. Is there soy protein isolate in there? And if there is, I say, we're not getting that. We're not getting that. Pea protein's okay. Some whey. I don't love whey, especially if kids have a dairy issue, but there are some good proteins, right? But soy is terrible protein. It's terrible because it's all GMO, glyphosate-ridden GMO product. Body. Okay, I'm just not, and I think it's causing a lot of the issues that we have today. I really do. I think that's one. I think there's other things too, but I think that's one of the big issues, hidden things. And we do know, and I put this on Instagram. Please follow me, guys, Instagram and Facebook a couple months ago about how glyphosate has hurt us cognitively. There were some studies about how glyphosate is messing with brain chemistry. And I have to go back and look at that. But I'm telling you that glyphosate is deadly. And we, as much as we can afford, now organics are getting less expensive. And I'm just going to buy cheap laundry detergent and be able to afford, a little bit better quality organics. Now, not everything has to be organic. Avocados don't need to be organic. So there's some things that don't need to be organic, but you have to buy soy organic.
So a lot of what we hear about kids with ADHD is they don't eat all day because of their medication, and then they carb load a lot at the
And that's
end.
the worst. That is the worst thing that they could do. That's
So
the absolute. I know.
How do blood sugar spikes and crashes impact attention, behavior, and mood?
And this is down the line, even for people who don't have ADHD. It is huge. It's just huge. And I have worked with teenagers that have had this problem where they're just not hungry because of the
Right.
medication.
Right.
That is really tough. That's a tough one. And I guess now this is not every parent, but as a parent, this would be my goal. Okay. My goal would be to pump my kid with so many nutrients that they would actually be able to have less medication, and that is possible, and I've seen it happen. Okay, because you you can't keep going like this. The carb loading is causing, it's a vicious cycle.
Mhm.
Okay, we are eating too many of these carbohydrates, and that is not good for our brains. I'm telling you, my dementia patients, my Parkinson's patients, I don't put, oh, here's another one, epilepsy patients,
Oh.
right? All get put on a very low carb diet. And you can do keto well and you can do keto not well. I only put those patients on keto because keto is hard to stick to, but they do really well and their cognitive abilities all go up
Mm.
because they're not just using the carbs as energy. They're using something called ketone bodies, which is great brain food. It's a great energy for your brain. And it just helps in so many ways with Parkinson's and a lot of different neurodegenerative diseases. I know that's really hard for kids to do, so I'm not asking them, but I'm asking parents to really help their kids to eat, something like those proteins and fats early on in the day. Like get them in early on, eat breakfast doesn't have to be breakfast foods. I know this is hard for people to handle. I know that they think the breakfast police are going to come and arrest them if they don't eat cereal in the morning,
Oh,
Oh
but
no.
they don't. I had crazy stuff for breakfast this morning. A lot of times what I'm having is, stuff left over, the shrimp and, whatever I can find in the refrigerator that's left over from the night before. But I do have my old staples. You do not have to eat breakfast food in the morning. So have them eat what they like, but make sure that it's clean protein and make sure that there's some fat in there, even if it's a little bit, to regulate their blood sugars and to get them through the day. And maybe that will help. This is what I see. I see when they eat the protein and the fat in the morning, and then a little bit at lunchtime, they're not so prone to stuff their faces with the carbs.
right.
And the problem with the carbs, this is huge, and people are like always blaming sugar on everything. Sugar is not good, but the body can't tell the difference, beautiful people, really between a candy bar and pretzels. Okay, they all turn into glucose. It all turns into glucose in your stomach, okay? And then it goes to your bloodstream and some to your liver. It all turns into glucose, and that spikes insulin from the pancreas, and that causes energy problems. It causes brain issues. It causes metabolic issues. It causes inflammatory problems. It causes all kinds of problems. But people just don't get that, and so I would just have them, even if they're not hungry, say, okay, no, we're just going to eat a little tiny bit, of this guacamole cup or, with something or just a couple pieces of chicken, or I eat steak a lot of times for breakfast, eggs, whatever they can eat.
How do you feel
Just
about
one.
protein shakes?
Well, it depends. What kind of protein are you using? They're not all created equal. They're
What
not
about
all
the ones
created.
that are pre-mixed in the
They're all not created equal. Some, like, I don't like Premier Protein. I don't like, there's some that I do like. Orgain is one that I do like. That was developed by a doctor who had cancer, and he needed something to keep his weight up, and so he developed, and I used it in the hospital when I was in the hospital because an oncologist turned me on to it. And I was so sick of those insurers are terrible. Like, don't give your grandma Ensure. Okay. Don't give people Ensure. It's crap food. All right. It's crap. Um, like an Orgain, it's a protein. I think it's pea protein.
Yep.
And I like pea protein. And it just depends. It just depends if it, just look at your labels. If it has soy protein isolate in it, ditch it. If it has any kind of seed oils, if it has sunflower oil or canola oil or corn oil or uh, soybean oil is the number one, soybean oil. It has that, ditch it. There's a lot of good stuff. There's something called the IQ bars, which are really clean. Do I have an IQ bar? Really clean. And they also have some adaptogens in them, um, which helps with mood, and just they're herbs basically, like lion's mane and things like that. And they're really, I'm going to do a go-to bar, it's going to be the IQ bar.
Okay.
And but anyway, I'm a mother and I'm a parent, and so I understand how hard it is. But when Piper is in the grocery store, I make her read the labels. I'm like, okay, what's it got in it? You can have it if it has good stuff in it.
Yeah.
Teach your children.
I haven't heard of IQ bars though.
Yeah, try them. They're really good.
I haven't seen them. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Clean, clean protein. And then I think they're sweet. I think they're sweetened with monk fruit, which I do like monk fruit because it doesn't raise your blood sugars as much, and it's not a artificial sweetener.
Cool.
Yeah.
So let's talk about, now we're going to talk about the gut brain connection. Okay.
Yep.
What does that tell people? A lot of people don't understand what the gut brain connection is.
I know. And it's really in its time. Well, so when I was leaving Baltimore, I was actually working at the time for the health department because the employees that were so unhealthy at the health department, so unhealthy. Oh, the director, she had me like speak to all. I know, no, and it's true in many places, almost all places. That's the way it is. The health department has some of the most unhealthy people, and so she was so concerned about that. She had me come in and counsel all of her employees, plus do a big presentation. But anyway, we did this big gut health. That was 10 years ago. Okay. So it was kind of in its infancy, gut health symposium. And the mayor of the town showed up. We thought like we'd have 30 people. We had 350 people. We were at capacity, didn't even know where to park all the cars. And that's how important. And we had a really good team of people promoting this thing. But I did a deep dive into gut health, and man, what I found. I am telling you, that gut brain connection is so strong. And like I said, that vagus nerve runs from your gut to your brain, and it's like a your body's super highway information system. And if this isn't right, if your gut's not right, your brain's not going to be right. And I think we could just get rid of so much depression and anxiety and all kinds of things if the gut's right. So what we know too is that, babies that are C-section, babies that were not breastfed, and this is not a condemnation on parents because a lot of parents didn't know any of this, is that they do have more gut health issues. They have more IBS issues. They have more depression, more anxiety. They have this and that. And that's something that parents need to know just so that they can help their child correct it, right? And so we know that the three ways that if you can get now my gut used to be a big hot mess, and it's not anymore. It's the root of this, just remember this, is something called leaky gut. That's your small intestine, where 90% of your nutrients are absorbed in your small intestine. And when you have leaky gut, you're not going to get the absorption. I mean, I always tell my patients this constantly. You're not what you eat, you're what you absorb. Okay. And if you're not absorbing a lot of these things, there's going to be a problem, Houston, right? So I find that people's guts will determine so much for them because they need to absorb it. So we kind of start there a lot of times with a lot of my patients. If I figure that there's a really severe gut issue or they have leaky gut, we've got to fix that. And we fix that with amino acids, which are the building blocks of proteins, right? And one particular amino acid I use, and I have used it with the children. I have used it with my gut health children. And it's very safe, but if we don't fix that leaky gut, things, it's going to be hard. And then probiotics too. I do think that probiotics are essential, but they're very confusing. It's like, which one do we use?
When do we take?
I mean, they're so confusing, and we're getting out of the infancy stage into the more toddler, stage of gut health. So we're starting. I'm looking into in my spare time. I don't know when that was going to be, but I'm looking into like getting more testing for my patients where we can tell like what bacteria is missing. And we know that we need a whole bunch of different ones because a diverse gut is a healthy gut. But some people are, because of antibiotic use, because of NSAID use, Tylenol and
Ibuprofen.
well, ibuprofen, right? But I don't think ibuprofen is an NSAID. But anyway, those painkiller type of drugs, because of PPIs, which are proton pump inhibitors, which is a gut health issue, and then you put a proton pump inhibitor like a Nexium or Prilosec on top of that, then you make the gut health issue even worse. And that also has ties to Alzheimer's disease. So I'm just saying that once we get that gut fix, so many things can drop away from these patients and their mood gets better. A lot of my patients, they're coming in eating 1,200 calories a day and they can't lose weight because their guts are messed up. Their guts are so messed, it's almost impossible to lose weight. And then also immunity. So mood, weight loss, and immunity are the three main things. But we're even finding like there's a connection to gut health and ADHD, and there's a connection to brain issues, and a connection to heart disease, and so many other things.
Yeah. So on a practical basis, so as we look at, as you guide parents that have kids that have ADHD, let's give them some good ideas on what.
Before we go into that, Tony, before we go into that, could I just go over the main nutrients that we find the researchers have found that are missing with ADHD?
Absolutely.
Yes. Number one would be those healthy fats, okay? Even saturated fats, but omega-3s are not saturated. They're polyunsaturated, and they're so important, and they are, you can find them in a lot of things, but they're really important. But just fats in general, good fats, okay? Not just omega-3s, which are in like fatty fish. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Fatty fish, but other like nuts and seeds and olives and avocados, those good fats. Okay. So not, some foods have all different types of fats. Like an avocado has good fats, and I mean it has like polyunsaturates, but it also has monounsaturates, right? So olive oil, fatty fish, avocados, there's good fats. Okay, number one. And supplementation I would recommend for any child who has any kind of any child, really, to be honest with you, any child would benefit from more omega-3s because we don't get them. We're not Finland. We're not Sweden, okay?
Right.
We're not Japan. We don't get enough of them in our diet. Our children aren't taught to eat them, okay? So that's number one. Number two is iron, okay? Iron is so important for kids. Children and people with ADHD are twice as likely to experience iron deficiency compared to the general public. Now, why is that? Yes, we need to get more iron-rich foods into our diet, especially heme iron. I'm a big believer in animal proteins for that, okay? And maybe if you're a vegan, you could do it through other, non-heme forms, but I really like animal proteins for clean animal proteins, right? But the reason it's not what you take in, it's what you absorb. They're not getting enough vitamin C rich foods. And that's just not oranges, guys. That's like, lots of different colorful fruits and vegetables. Like we had organic peppers last night. I think Piper ate them all. Like peppers, like the orange and the brightly colored foods. Brightly colored foods will help you to absorb the iron. And then another one that ADHD kids are missing is magnesium. Magnesium, the dark leafy vegetables and even, chocolate, yes, has a lot of magnesium, but almonds and lots of other foods. But I would recommend always supplementing with magnesium. Supplement a child with magnesium at night, right before they go to bed, with magnesium glycinate. Yes. Magnesium, because it helps you to absorb that vitamin D. It helps with anxiety, depression, and so many other things. I would say a good 80 to 90% of kids are deficient in magnesium, and adults as well. So this is good. Zinc is another one, which would be, seafood, red meat, eggs, chicken, that kind of thing. Zinc is another nuts, a really important one. And then the, vitamin D.
Yeah.
I looked up a statistic, 78.4% of children with ADHD are found to be deficient in vitamin D compared to 48% of children without it.
Mm,
Okay, that's pretty statistically,
because of their
uh,
because of
what?
because of their eating habits.
Well, no, yes and no. It's absorption.
Yeah.
Vitamin D normally comes from the sun, but they're not absorbing enough of it, right? And it doesn't all have to come from milk products or whatever, because Asian children don't get milk.
Mm.
Asian people don't get milk. They don't have milk. They don't have cow's milk in their diet, but they are getting vitamin D, and that mainly it's from the sun, but it's also from gut health. Like if your gut's not healthy, or if you're even obesity lowers your vitamin D absorption. Okay, so vitamin D is another one. So I just say it's just supplementing children with a small amount of vitamin D, omega-3s, magnesium, but also starting with food. You need to get the good proteins and the good fats and the colorful vegetables.
But if they can't
Okay.
if they can't do it through eating the food, then you recommend supplements? I mean, it's better that they get it somewhere, right?
I say yes. I would like you can't mess with food. I mean, you got to have the food,
Right.
but even when kids get the food, I think you're gonna therapeutically it's best to supplement even if they do have a good diet. I think
Okay.
those not every you don't have every single supplement, but omega-3s, I think every child should be taking omega-3s.
Mhm.
Every child. I bet 500 to 1,000 micrograms a day, milligrams. I'm sorry, milligrams a day, not micrograms, milligrams. So omega-3s, vitamin D is probably a good idea to supplement unless you've done their vitamin D test and they're really, really high, which is a small amount, not tons of vitamin D, but a small
5,000,
amount. And then
5,000 IU's is good, you think, for
not for children. No, that's a little too high for children. 5,000 depends on how low they are. If they're really low in the teens or whatever, you might want a supplement. Never D2. No, I don't care what a doctor gives you. Go take their D2. Take D3.
D3?
It's a yeah D3. The other one, you don't need to really necessarily supplement. Some you might want to, but I would not supplement with iron. I would just eat more vitamin
Yeah.
C and iron rich foods. And then zinc, I would not take zinc unless I had a cold. I would take zinc.
I
I
like
would I would just get more zinc rich foods. Yeah.
I like the magnesium glycinate at night because that doesn't
Yes,
that
at
help
night.
too? Isn't it helping them sleep?
A-
Because kids
Absolutely.
they have trouble sleeping. Kids with ADHD typically.
Yes, they do. They do. And all my ADHD kids go on magnesium, all of them,
Yeah.
because they do. They stay up too late and then
So
it's just a vicious cycle.
how much do you recommend of that for
It
kids?
I can't really say it depends on the weight of the
Yeah,
child.
right.
Yeah, I can't.
Yeah.
I mean, there's some adults. I mean, I take a tremendous amount of magnesium, but I've got some adults on
But
480 milligrams. But children, I usually do about 120
yeah,
milligrams.
yeah.
And it depends on the weight of the child.
But
Now, there's some kids that come into my office that they weigh more than I do.
so parents have asked me if it should always be given at night. Magnesium is one of those that you should take at night, not in the
I
morning.
think so.
It has a
And
tendency to be drowsy and yeah, so give it at nighttime so that helps. Okay, cool.
I think so. Unless a child is got a lot of anxiety, it helps with anxiety. It's not going to make them sleepy. It's just going to relax them,
Right.
So if there's a ton of anxiety, you could give it at other times. But I recommend doing it at night, giving magnesium at night.
That was I hope everybody's listening. That was really helpful because I think that helps,
Yeah,
a lot of families right there.
it does. It
But
really does.
No, that's your territory.
what role do probiotics or fermented foods play in helping kids with ADHD?
That's a good question. That's a really good question.
He does a lot of probiotics,
Okay,
but
good.
not so much fermented. I
And,
love fermented food, but he
and
doesn't.
the
He didn't
prebiotics,
like it.
pre and pro, pre and
Yeah, prebiotics are we are now finding the importance, Tony, of prebiotics.
yeah.
And I will give a child a type of a prebiotic that help if there's some constipation, especially. There's a type of prebiotic that I'll give them. But um, it depends on the child and again how old they are, what kind of probiotic. I like something that has probiotics and prebiotics in it. But
Yeah.
there's some strains that I might give them. It's very complicated. It's not, there's just some strains that are better at doing this, and then there's some strains that are better at doing that. I think a broad spectrum with, like, I like a probiotic that has at least 15, 20 different strains in it.
Yep.
And you never want to just give a child acidophilus. I see people doing that. It's like, okay, that's like going into a battle with the squirt gun, basically. That's not just acidophilus. It's like, okay, well, where are the rest of the, 20 different strains? You need different bifidobacteria. You need different strains of these different bacteria because they do all different things and they work in synergy with one another. So a healthy gut is a diverse gut. So a healthy gut has lots of different types of bacteria in it. And we know, what the researchers know now is that people that don't have diversity in their gut have all kinds of issues. And how does that diversity get knocked out? Through pharmaceuticals, usually.
Yeah.
Through
Well,
and stress, and also through just not eating right. But yes, I like fermented foods. I love fermented foods. But if you don't, I would say definitely, I'm not going to make a kid eat my sauerkraut, right? I don't even make my own kids
I
eat sauerkraut.
will. I will.
we
I
got,
know. I love it
I
too.
so some of the kids
I
like it,
know.
some don't like it though. That's
Yeah.
I love
balance it
it.
out.
Give me
Yeah.
all that stuff.
I know.
My last kid is not a picky eater because she was eating avocados at the age of 6 months, right? But I don't even make her eat sauerkraut. And then my husband doesn't like
So,
kimchi, and I love kimchi. So it just depends. I mean, I love kimchi. Yeah.
so let's talk about change. Okay. How do you,
Yeah.
because change is hard for people. It really is. I mean,
So much information.
there's a lot. This is all great stuff.
Mhm.
This is wonderful. I think
You're going to
because
be getting a lot of
it
phone calls.
gives ground. It gets everybody ground on what they should be taking and when they should be taking it. But getting people to motivated to change the way they do
I
today
know.
is really probably is that one of the biggest challenges you have with some people too, is just they don't want to change. I mean, same as exercise. I mean, getting people to move, just move, go for a walk. So
Right.
we're asking you, so take a step at a time and take you through the process, and let's do a little bit at a time. You're gonna see a difference,
Yeah.
right? How
Yeah, I change is hard because we're human, right? And humans don't like to change. But let me tell you something. Um, you pay now or you pay later. And I think most people are figuring out that they don't feel good and they know something's wrong and they're willing to do the hard work. And here's the thing, if you do it up front, it gets easier in time, but nothing's easy. Nothing worthwhile is easy. And I'm not going to get on this podcast and tell you that this is easy.
uh,
But let me tell you, pick your hard. Pick your hard.
yeah.
Constipation, brain fog, worsening symptoms, more medication, terrible energy levels.
Yeah.
To me, that's hard. Well, the way I used to live is hard. The way my parents lived in their 40s and early 50s is hard. Hard. And nothing tastes better. There's not a piece of cheesecake on the earth that tastes better than the when you have great energy and you're not struggling with, and what?
You're talking to.
No, because it's okay that, but see, the thing that you got, like, I'm a believer
Mr.
that
Sweet Tooth.
I'm a believer that I could eat well, 6 days out of the week, but then I like to have a cheat day. I like to have.
Yeah.
I
No, I agree.
Oh,
No,
No.
Casey, don't laugh because I agree too. I agree with that. Like,
I agree with that.
I give all my patients, like, if we get them stabilized, now some of them are worse.
Yeah, that's
We
right.
really have to stabilize them first, right? I give them all a cheat day. And I say, you just eat whatever you want to eat. But you can't do it 2 days, that you can't keep doing it. The problem is some of them are like, yeah, I'll do it. Others know themselves and they're like, if I do one cheat day, they're not strong enough yet.
Right.
They said, I will have a cheat month. I will have a cheat month. And I'm like, well, you're not ready for a cheat day.
No.
You're just not ready,
No, that's
sweetheart. Right. But I do it too. I only do it really, I can only get away with like I'm I'm a diabetic ready to happen with a very low diabetic scores and very low A1C, but only because of nutrition. I I can only get away with it like a meal or two a week. I can't go through a whole day. If I started the day off with pancakes and waffles and crap, I will be, first of all, I'll be sleeping by noon because I just couldn't handle it. And I would not feel good. My body would be like, what are you doing? You know,
Right.
my body would be like just not knowing what to do with itself. And plus I like to be at my normal, I like to be at a healthy weight and I'll just gain all the weight. So it's like you got to know you got to know your body. Yes, I think, and that's why I said for the holidays, you don't want to say, I would just say, I'm going to eat whatever I want on Thanksgiving, but I'm not going to do it the day after Thanksgiving, right? I'm going to get right back in the saddle. It's the problem with a lot of people is like this all or nothing mentality.
Yeah.
You don't want that. You want progress. You don't want all or nothing. If you make a mistake, a lot of people like, well, I ate some candy at lunchtime, so I'm just gonna, what the heck? It's called the what the heck effect, right? And it's like we're just gonna eat whatever we want the rest of the day because we messed up. So that makes no sense. I
Yeah.
mean, so you ate a piece of candy, so what? Keep going and keep doing the healthy stuff, right? It's the accumulation of all the crap that we're eating. It's not just one piece of candy. It's the accumulation of continuing to just say, I can't change, or I got to keep going. I can't, I messed up one time. So what? You messed up one time.
Right.
So what?
Yeah.
And I think once people start feeling better, I had so many people come to my office, they're like, after about 2 or 3 weeks doing this, they're like, I didn't even know what it was like to feel good.
Oh, that's
That's
great.
so
That's
That's
sad.
what you
But
want.
it's
that's
That's what
exactly
you want,
right.
though.
That's
and I'm
exactly
like, yeah, welcome to the real world here. And it's so sad. Most people don't feel good and they just go along. They just kind of push through. And it's like, I don't want to live life that way. And I don't want to go backwards, right? So there's too much at stake for me to want to go backwards. And yes, Tony, I'm the same way. I have a sweet tooth. My husband does not. There's something wrong with the man.
Me
Weird.
too.
I you either I know. Well, now he can down some, but I give him really healthy like avocado oil, organic potato chips, but he can eat some potato chips.
Right.
So his is more salty stuff, but
Yeah.
still, the man is just like something wrong with him. Like I love sweets and I love bread, I love pasta, I love all that stuff, but it's like a bad boyfriend for me. It doesn't love you back, okay? So I just say nope. I don't. And the really cool thing, I told one of my patients this today. The really cool thing about all of this is that it gets easier. Like I used to have to pray my way through the bakery aisle of a grocery store,
Oh,
right? Like, oh my God, Lord, just help me not to buy
You don't go down that
that
road. You stay
pumpkin roll.
down that aisle.
well, there's so
I
many
know. I'm like,
now.
please help me not to buy that. Help
No.
me not. Please leave me out of temptation. But now I don't have, it doesn't affect me like it used to. It just does. I don't have the pull. I want to eat better things. Now, do I, if I want to eat something like with a sweet, I'll just do a little bit, little bite of something.
Right.
I'll have just a little bite.
Yeah.
I like
And
that.
that really does it for me.
Yeah.
Yep.
So let's talk about one thing I want to talk about with you is how about olive oil at night before you go to bed?
Love it.
So
I don't know. I haven't done a study on olive. I need to do a video on olive oil. I'm trying to get a video together on olive oil and how to pick the best olive because it's really difficult to find a good olive oil.
So I
But
always have it at night before I go to bed.
yeah,
With a little bit of cranberry juice. Just a little,
cranberry juice not good.
I know.
Not good.
How
I
about
mean, olive oil is great. Why do you have to do cranberry juice?
how
Why
about
do you have to mess the olive oil
how
up,
about
Tony?
pomegranate juice? Pomegranate.
Pomegranate's okay. Yeah,
Okay.
pomegranate's okay. Yeah, most juices are
I'm
just
not talking.
Oh,
yeah. Casey, most juices are glorified. You got to know this Coca-Cola. Okay, all juices are.
Sugar.
yeah.
Except maybe pomegranate. All juices. Orange juice is worse than you can give a kid.
I have orange juice.
Orange juice, cranberry juice, all of them are processed. They're no better than Kool-Aid or Coca-Cola. They have the same amount of sugar, and you're not doing yourself any good. There's hardly any, after they are done with them, there's no nutritive value to juice. Okay, so quit giving your kids juice. Stop the juice crap. Just stop it because it's bad for their blood sugars. And you think you're doing such a great thing for them. No, juice is just glorified Kool-Aid or Coca-Cola.
But Lindy, even the
Yeah.
ones that are like 100% pure,
Mhm.
organic, no sugar added, not
No,
even those.
because no, because they have to go through a process. Okay. This is not, grandma's not out in the backyard pressing this juice. Okay.
I know.
It's going through a pasteurization process. It's taking out all the vitamins and minerals. No, juice is crap. And when I got you'll lose 10 pounds just getting away from juice for most people, right? Because it's concentrated sugar and it's fructose, which actually raises your blood sugars even higher or as much, or some study shows higher than sucrose, which is table sugar, white sugar. Okay. Fructose is not, you need, if you're going to, I'm not a big, like, I don't do a whole lot of fruits unless it's berries and the low glycemic. Like, I just had a little organic apple in my salad for lunch with my steak. And it was a great salad. And I had walnuts in it and I had some feta cheese. Anyway, so it was great. So here's the deal. Here's the deal. Juice is just, fruit is okay for a lot of people. A lot of people can do fruit, but you got to know that it raises blood sugars,
Mhm.
and that's not always great for kids. Okay, so my thing is that if you're going to eat, if you don't do apple juice, do the apple. If you have to, do applesauce, but don't do apple juice. Okay, because you're not getting any of the fiber, the nutrition, the nutrients, the quercetin, all of the things that these kids need so desperately. Apple juice is not given it because it's been processed and it's been heated.
Mm-hmm.
It's been heated. And you think you're doing such a great thing, and you're like, it's drinking a Coca-Cola.
Yeah.
Okay. High
Well,
fructose corn syrup.
the labels are so misleading on things, on,
Really?
yeah.
Really?
Yeah, even like baby foods, they think that they're
Oh,
so much better than they used to be, and it's so hard to know
it
because you're
is.
doing the right thing, and it's just so hard to know.
It
Um,
is. It
yeah.
is. It is.
So
But
basically,
mhm.
stay away from processed
Yeah,
food.
absolutely. Right.
Yeah. Eat
Plus,
real foods.
yeah.
Real
Just eat real food. It's not that hard, y'all. It really isn't.
How do you feel about broccoli and kale and all those others?
Love them. I
Yeah.
do love them. Cruciferous vegetables help with hormone, but I particularly here's another thing that makes life so easy. I make my meals really easy. I don't fuss with meals unless it's a holiday, and I'll fuss a little bit. I don't fuss with meals. And there's another thing too, is I have my 15-year-old making dinner tonight. So she's going to make us taco salads with grass-fed beef
nice.
Nice.
and taco seasoning, and we'll have, greens, some A2 sour cream, and some really good salsa and guacamole,
All
which
right.
is the perfect food. Guacamole is a perfect food for kids, perfect food for kids. So in a couple, we'll probably have some organic corn too. Is all glyphosated. It's all GMO. So in our household, we only do organic corn. But
Okay.
all these things are getting cheaper and cheaper, and it's so much easier. Here's the good thing, parents. It's so much easier now than it was 5 years ago to get this food because it's people are waking up and it's more readily available, and people are asking for that food. You just gotta go buy it. So when I do vegetables, unless it's a salad, 9 times out of 10, I'm doing frozen organic vegetables, right? And Trader Joe's is a great place to get frozen organics.
Mm.
Not everything has to be organic, but I do my broccoli florets organic. And I tell you, they're so good because it's so easy. My meals don't take more than, I mean, they're really easy. Most of my meals are really easy. I threw organic chicken in a crock pot, put a non-seed oil dressing on it, put some butter in it, and then just had chicken in the crock pot with broccoli. And let's see, we had a little bit of somebody made some real sourdough bread. We had some sourdough bread and something else I can't remember, but it's easy. It was
Yeah.
just easy meals,
Yeah.
right? It doesn't have to be complicated.
And plus, there's so many things like for mashed potatoes, you can substitute like chicken broth. instead of all the butter and stuff, right? Like there's
No, you don't want to do that. You want the butter.
Okay.
Okay, you
But
want the
butter-
butter. Butter is good for
well,
your
but
brain. It's got butyric acid. But butter is
But
also great. I know that's the dieting mentality. Don't do the dieting thing.
but I have two people coming for Thanksgiving who are dairy. They're dairy
Oh,
free.
oh, yes, yes, dairy.
So
Okay,
so
okay. Well,
for the dairy free folks, I mean, we're having to do a lot
I
of.
would just have them eat outside. No, I'm just joking. I'm
I
I'm
want
just
to watch
joking.
this podcast then.
no,
I'm just joking, family. Family, I'm just
we're modifying a lot, but it's good.
No, there.
It's all good.
I don't modify that way.
Yeah.
Now
Okay.
here's the thing. I use broth. I'm with you, Casey. I use
I make
broth in
my
a
own.
lot of
I
things.
make my own broth from bone.
Yeah. Oh, you're good. But
Oh,
butter is so healthy. And
I
here's the
love
thing.
butter.
Butter is healthy.
I love butter.
I love butter and I use really good pasture butter. But what I'm finding with my patients is even if I take them off dairy, and if they're dairy sensitive, right? Butter has very little of that inflammatory protein in it. It has especially pasture butter, right? So it's really, butter is really a health food. It's something it was such a crime
Yeah.
against humanity. It was crime against humanity to take butter and give my poor parents shed spread
Crisco.
and margarine
Or
and
Crisco.
or Crisco or
How about
those.
lard?
Lard.
Remember lard?
Well, lard's
Animal
better
fat?
than no
Better
lard. Don't get me going on lard. Lard is much better than the Well, I'm not asking you to do lard. I'm just saying
No.
lard is actually a natural product, whereas with those seed oil, those margarines were hydrogenated. That's another whole talk. But
Yeah.
that is absolutely the most. And they took them 25 years. Europe had already done it 25 years before we did. They finally took them out of our food supply because they could not. They tried to. It's because of food lobbyists, you guys. It's because of money.
Yeah.
Why did Europe take the hydrogenation and all the margarines out like 25 years ago and we didn't?
Yeah.
Why did that happen?
I know.
It's because of money. It's because of big ag.
Days. We may just
I know. I can't
may
right
have-
all wrongs.
we can just keep talking and we'll just cut this into 2 or 3 segments if we have to.
I'm sorry, you
Oh, it's
guys.
all
You
good.
know how I
It's
am.
all good.
No,
But,
everything that you're saying is so useful.
But the people that what I would do is just make them a little pile
do.
of their own little
I
mashed
do.
potatoes.
That's what I do.
Oh,
do.
good. Okay, that's fine because
that's
I
what I
would not cater to their little dairy.
No,
And the
no.
thing is,
Yeah.
and I don't want them to have a dairy, but a lot of people I'll just say my patients who have dairy sensitivities can do pastured butter because it's so little inflammatory. It's that BCM7 protein. And you might even want them to tell them to watch that A2 video because they could even try a little bit of A2 dairy and not have any reaction whatsoever.
Oh.
Okay.
Okay. Organic
Oh.
A2 dairy.
So let's go down a path here. So now empowering parents and kids. So I love what you're doing with your daughter. And you taught her. So one of the things is teaching the kids to look at labels.
Yes.
All right. So
Yes.
is that so for ADHD kids that are teenagers, right?
Yes.
Is that a good suggestion for them too?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. It would just
So give them-
empower them.
Give them a guide of what to look,
Yes.
right? So that would be helpful.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And then how about, so what do you do in a case where you have one parent who is all on board, but one who isn't? How do you work? How do you work with those families? Just give some
that
guidance.
is so tough.
All right.
My heart goes out to those. That's really, really tough. Yikes. And I've seen it and I have seen
Yeah,
it.
I'm sure.
And I had this lovely Hispanic lady and that was the case with her. Bless her heart. And she just wanted her son to be healthy. And so she made, I mean, I know it sounds crazy, but she had to make a separate meal for her son and her. And and just say, I'm not, you can't be responsible for your spouse. You just love your spouse and you're not responsible. You're not their parent, and so she was teaching her son how to eat responsibly and herself because she wanted to get healthy the dad wasn't really on board and some of the older kids were not quite on board. You can't change people. I say this all the time. I say it all the time. I say when they see results in you, They won't say anything, but it'll start to register with them for the most part. I
That's how you
always,
empower them. That's how you empower change.
that's how you get them.
Yeah, you get them hooked on seeing what you're doing.
Right.
Same
But
as
you
that.
don't preach to them. You don't have to preach to them. You just have to say, no, thank you. I don't want, those chips or whatever. I'll buy my own, or I just don't want those. And it's hard. My husband and I are on the same page on most things. I call it contraband. He will bring contraband into our house once in a while. I call it contraband.
No, you never do that though, do you? No, not right.
No.
He brings it in.
So I'm going to tell
And
you a funny story. My husband, I'm telling on him, sorry.
I'm telling me.
So he'll say to me, okay, don't bring no cupcakes, like don't buy candy, no sweets, and don't bring anything in the house because I'm done. I'm done with it. I'm done with it. And then he goes out and then buys all this stuff and he hides it.
Stuff.
Yeah.
Well,
One or two things.
Yeah.
But see, that's my cheat day.
But
Yeah.
he doesn't want me to know that he's done it. And I'm like, wait, you're telling me not to get it.
Yeah.
You get all in the house. But I mean, I don't begrudge him it. He begrudges it himself.
So 90% of the time, like I'm
right.
90% of the time, we're all good.
Yeah.
It's that I do follow the cheat pattern that we talked about, but
Yeah.
not all the time. I mean, times that I don't want anything. There are times that but
Right.
also exercise. So here's the exercise connection. You tie 80% of this is nutrition we talked about, 20% is exercise. When you tie them both together, it's if you work hard at both, you're going to feel good about yourself.
Right.
They both energize you. They both give you the dopamine rush that we hope you get from working out and from eating right.
Right. And I agree with that. And they go hand in hand. And the thing is, if I have a patient that comes in my office and they don't exercise and they don't eat right, I'm going to start with the food first. But
I agree.
we get to the exercise part. But what I say to them, and I don't have many like this, but I say to them, I want you to start with 5 minutes a day. And because a lot of times they have tried the exercise and they get into this what the heck effect, like, oh, I did it for 6 months and it was like, and I couldn't stand going to the gym anymore, and I couldn't stand. I exercise in my bedroom every day. And the thing is, I would love to go to gym. I don't have time for gym. But here's the thing, is that you're making a habit. And that is the biggest and most important thing, is you're making a habit. But I don't give it to them all at one time. We don't even talk about exercise until like 3 or 4, because I got to get that food solidly found, the foundation of that food.
Totally agree with where we're going.
And that's so important. It just depends on everything is so personalized in my practice. It just all some people don't need help with exercise. They're exercising more than I am, right? And so they don't need help with that. They need help with just the food part. So I'm just tweaking it to their needs, right? But yes, absolutely. But the cheat day is not going to hurt you. I don't think it will. Here's the thing though. Here's one thing I want to say this, really important. This might help you, Tony, might help all the parents listening, right? So Brian does not have the sweet tooth, but I have it, right? I have it. I mean, I just have it. I could use a 12-step program probably sometimes. But here's the thing. If I'm going to buy cake or my thing is probably pies and cakes and things like candies, not so much, but pie and cake and breads and stuff, I'm going to get the best quality in the world. Okay. So I'm going to get, something that's made with real butter, real sugar, real, unbleached, hopefully organic flour, if I can find it, or whatever it is, it's going to have it's not going to be some crappy, baked good from Harris Teeter. It's going to be probably some from Whole Foods, or, something that has real ingredients. Like I'll make pumpkin pies for Thanksgiving, and they have real heavy cream in them. Okay, organic heavy cream, the best pumpkin pie you've ever tasted. But it's going to have the real stuff. It's not going to have some cheap canned milk in it or whatever they put in that. It's going to be the stuff that your great grandmother would have used in her cooking. You see what I'm saying? So that's a different cheat.
Yeah,
that's a different cheat. So when you're cheating, just do it right.
Yeah.
Sounded terrible.
No.
When you're cheating, do it right, Tony. When you're cheating on the cheat day, make sure that it's good. And I'm not gonna waste a dessert or something goody, like a real fun, good thing on some crappy thing with no good ingredients in it.
Right. Nope.
Nope.
I agree.
And Cool Whip is not good, guys. It's terrible. So
What?
use real
Totally agree.
cream.
What?
Use whipped cream. Real whipped cream.
No.
Use real. Cool Whip is a seed oil, and it used to be hydrogenated. I think it's almost, they've taken some of that out, but it still has hydrogen. It's a heart attack in a can, or whatever they put it in, or not, whatever they put that in. Tub. It's horrible. It's not food. Cool Whip is not food, but whipped cream is. So why would you use?
I make real whipped cream from cream. Yeah.
Make real whipped cream, for crying out loud. I mean, yeah, just make the real stuff. And I know people just they like to do what they grow up with, but man, I'd be dead if I did what I grew up with.
Yeah.
Well, we're glad you're not dead.
So we're excited to have you with us.
Me too.
Let's just kind of wrap up here.
Yeah.
So number one is families listen. It takes the whole family to change. You got to move in the right direction. But if you can't all move in the right direction, then as long as help your child with ADHD, because nutrition is so important. So that's right. And number two is nutrients, omega-3s, vitamin D3, magnesium. I mean, those are some of the top ones. And then eat the right food.
Iron and zinc.
Iron
okay.
And zinc. Yep.
So I would say these are the top ones for ADHD. Yep. It would be omega-3s, iron, zinc, vitamin C, and magnesium. Okay.
Yep. So and then tie it all together with make sure, and we call it accommodations in plain sight. So we talk about exercise, and kids don't like to exercise. Some kids are very active, some aren't. Just take a slow walk. Now, as a family, go out, get outside, just get some fresh air. It's also, just take 2 minutes, walk around the block just to get started. Your 5 minutes,
right, to
do something. Make it a habit. Make nutrition a habit. Make exercise a habit. Powerful stuff together. And
right,
and listen. So, Lindy, please share with everyone where to get your information.
Yes.
Where to find you on? You said your podcast. Where to find you so that people can go. And we'll put it all in the
if you could put it in the notes, that would be great, and I'll give it to you. But if you could, so I'll be really honest with you. I fell out of favor with YouTube because I didn't post, because I got really busy in my practice, and I didn't post for like 9 months to a year, and then they were like, I used to post all the time, right? And so YouTube got mad at me, and I'm trying to get back into their good graces. So please go on my YouTube channel. And there's a great omega-3 video on there. There's a great magnesium video on there. You've got a lot of
great videos on there.
Yeah.
It's a lot of, so there's good material on there that you can, and there's one on brain stuff. So that's great. How to, focus and have better brain power. That's a great one. But anyway, go on my YouTube, Lindy Ford Nutrition and Wellness. Also, if you can follow me on Instagram, Lindy Ford Nutrition and Wellness, or at Lindy Wellness. And then Facebook, I'm on LinkedIn, I'm on X.
Everybody, please follow Lindy, and you'll get a lot of good tips. And so, Lindy, we appreciate you with us.
Yeah. And also, I'm willing to help any family, anybody, anywhere. We can do telehealth if you're out of state. It's fine. Or you can come to my office, or even people in Wilmington, they come to office, they do a hybrid. They come to the office, they do telehealth. So just reach out to me. My website is Lindy Ford LindyFordWellness.com. I'm sorry. LindyFordWellness.com. Really easy. Go to my website, reach out to me, and you can also reach out to me through email. You can call me. I don't care. We'll put all that in the show notes.
Yeah, great.
Well, y'all, you got a lot of information today. A lot of great information. You want me to start here?
Yeah.
Well, but that brings us to the end of today's episode, and what a powerful conversation it was. A huge thank you to Lindy Ford for sharing her wisdom, practical tools, and her heart for helping families thrive. If you found this episode helpful, please share it with someone who might need it, a parent, a teacher, or anybody walking the ADHD journey. The more we spread this information, the more support we bring to our kids.
Subscribe to our channel, please.
Yes. While you're subscribing to Lindy's, please subscribe to ours.
Yes.
We'd like to get over 40.
Oh, we have 100 some. So.
You'll get there.
We just started.
Getting there.
I started with 100. I'm trying to get to 40,000, but I started with 100.
Yeah, so to learn more about Anthony's Way, the Road to Kindness, and our mission to empower children and teens with ADHD, visit us online and follow along on social media. Also, please subscribe to our channel. Your support helps us continue making a difference in these kids' lives. Thank you so much for listening.
And then we always like to close
Yep.
with our family motto, and this is something that's been with us for over 30 years.
Today is the best day of your life, and tomorrow will be even better.
And life
is better with you.
Thank you so much. Lindy.
I love that.
Yeah, thank you so
Yeah,
much.
and it's been an honor. Thank you so much, guys.
All the
Thank
best,
you. We love
everybody.
everything you
Happy
do.
Thanksgiving to
Happy
everyone.
Thanksgiving.
Oh, you too. Happy Thanksgiving. Bye-bye, guys. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.